Hi y'all, welcome back to Big Sugar. This is my wife Michelle.
Hi. Within the next few weeks, this is what we're planning on doing. We have rough drafts here of our electric and of the building plans.
We are going to go in and rerun or redo our conduit and electrical. Actually get it buried underground, and we're going to run this 3/4 inch from the cabin up to a T, which will also tie in the solar into it, and then where it comes into a T, it'll run to 1 inch back up to a junction box, which runs into the utility room. And we're also going to replace the conduit that's running from the wind turbine, which is broke right now, into the junction box, and then have a dead end until when we get around to getting the pad and everything set up for the big generator, we can hook it directly in, so we do not have to cut into the electrical system all over again. It'll already be set there. We can just tie in. With that all being said, the idea of trenching it in, our trencher at the moment is broke down, and when we were down picking up stuff, I spaced out and forgot to even go by to get the parts to get the trencher done. So hopefully we use a trencher to put this in instead of having to hand dig all this in. One, I don't have that much free time to hand dig in, but it is possible. It's not like it's going to be the 300-foot of water line that we still have to put in for the ram pump. But that being said, we also are going to do the buildings onto, or add-ons of the buildings to our utility room. Yeah, thank you, honey. Basically, on the north side where the cistern is, we are going to put an enclosed building, basically from where that side door back toward the wind turbine is, so that tank will be 100% enclosed. That is to do multiple reasons, or for multiple reasons. One, the pump that's sitting on there, it will be protected from not so much the summer sun and everything, but from the winter freezes that we so elegantly get to get every year, to say it nicely.
It will have some insulation in it to keep it warm. The cistern itself is a little bit above ground because of the rocky land that we have, so it too has a possibility of freezing. We're doing this so that we have the ability to run water during the winter without worrying about it being frozen. Also, we will be able to move the water system that is inside the utility shed over into that one.
Yeah, it'll get out of there, so it'll be separated from the electrical. So there will be an actual barrier between our electrical and our solar. So if any mishaps happen, we don't have to worry about the electrical and the water being combined, and that gets the chlorine mixing chamber and everything, which is the most volatile part of our water system, out of there. So if something happens, it doesn't affect the batteries in any way, because some of our batteries are on the floor, and the copper and everything else, and electrical. I don't want that chlorine to get down there and start corroding any of those either batteries, but more importantly the connections, but the actual brains to that solar and energy system, like the inverter and charge controllers. They should be high enough up so we never have to, but
you never know. Spray of water.
And it will tie in, because it'll extend past the building some. It'll tie into when we do the next add-on to this building for the big generator that we'll put in there. It'll be the backup generator we have. It's a 14 or 25 kilowatt hour generator. runs all the, has a 454 big block motor on it. Kind of give you an idea how much power this thing really has. It'll be put in the building back there, so it'll be enclosed into that building. So once everything is all done, even though we're doing 3 add-ons, it'll look like one, like we built this building all at once, and it doesn't look like it was a building that we added on 3 times. It'll look like one continuous building.
For the 3rd add-on.
And yeah, and then, which will actually be the 2nd add-on, will be on the south side. It'll just be a lean-to facing the south. It's going to be about 8 to 9 foot coming off there. That'll run the entire length of the building and everything, to where we have a storage area for either dog pens, chicken pens, or whatever we want. Let's put the tiller and everything for the garden in there, so it's not having to be loaded in and out of the back of a truck and everything, or like we did the other day, out of the back of the Suburban to haul it somewhere. It kind of gives us a place to be able to put it and get it out of the weather instead of us having to haul it up to the other barn and everything. And this gives us more facing south roof line, so we can add on to our solar system, put permanent panels in, to where our stationary panels, so during the peak of the day when we're going to have when we have the most direct sunlight, we can have that extra boost in power and get the batteries charged up a little bit quicker. And or if our tracker, one of us, we forget to move our tracker, since I was working on it and took the tracking cover off of it, and we didn't get it quite put back on when we were working on it, and we had a major rainstorm come through.
Full of water.
Yeah, it filled the that brain up and fried it. So if you know anything about solar tracking systems, they're not the cheapest thing in the world.
They're a pain in the butt to fix.
And I just basically fried a single axle one because I didn't take the time to tighten a bolt back up, and it got water in it. So we're manually having to move our tracker, so it'll always find the sun. That is another part of the upgrade that we're doing, is one, kind of ripping off the busted parts that is on there now and replacing the busted parts with newer ones. The tracking system isn't getting replaced right now just because I don't have the money to go out and buy a brand new tracking system. So we're manually still having to track it.
And slowly but surely we'll be able to get all these projects done. It's not the fact that we're trying to bulldoze and get one completely completed with however your budget works, but with our budget, it is, we have to do little projects not really every day, but little projects as we go, and if we get shorted on one, we'll have to switch to another with the stuff that we have until we can get our budget built back up to go back to the other one.
Yeah, and like the ram pump, or basically due to the fact where we're going to move it at, I still got to do some engineering on how we want that, how we want to deal with the all the discharge, because the water that from the ram pump, that's from it running all the time, it does kick that wastewater out. We're just not going to let it hit the ground and just mark it off as a loss. We're actually trying to figure out how the best way to collect as much of that as possible, if not all of that, and recycle it back into another, we're hoping back into the water wheel for a secondary hydro plant, or a secondary water turbine, or back into another, move the sawmill over there, or something, to where we are getting as much use out of that water that we're already using as possible. So we are not just using a 2-inch ram pump that's shoving X amount of water up the hill, but it's discharging Y or X amount of water over here too. So we're just not wasting half of it or whatever. And the idea of engineering and getting it to where, okay, one, because it is on the side of a cliff, make sure whatever we build doesn't fall all the way down the side of the cliff. So it stays where we actually want it at. And we got to figure out how to get whatever we build, because if we put a concrete footing or anything, we got to figure out how to get everything put down there to where we can get the concrete truck down there and back up. I'm pretty sure we can back one up there. I'm just not for sure if he's going to be comfortable of backing down a side of a pond dam, which it might not look very steep.
But it is.
It's steep enough to where most people don't want to drive a truck down it. So that is kind of where we're at. Hopefully you kind of stay with us and follow us with the explanations. And it feels like I'm forgetting something. I don't know if I am or not, but if we are,
we'll explain it in the next video.
We'll explain it on the next video.
So be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We will have an upcoming Facebook page here pretty soon. Make sure you hit the like, comment, and subscribe buttons. The comments, we will be answering questions that you might have through there. And if you hit the little bell that should be on the left side of the screen, it will give you notifications for when our videos upload right then and there, so you can see it as soon as possible. We do here have a Patreon account. It should be linked in the description, as well as all the other Instagram and Twitter handles.
Yep. And see y'all.